Asbestos management for strata and commercial buildings. This is part 2 of the series that we were looking at before, where in part 1 we were looking at the Asbestos Safety and Eradication Agency. So that's the agency they put in for getting rid of the asbestos in Australia, so that's the main agency that's looking after that. But what we were going to go into was the management for the commercial buildings and the requirements that in there, and then we'll go through the other report a little bit later on. Okay. So any building before 2003 is required to have an asbestos register, and this should be reviewed once every 5 years to keep that up to date. That's where we're talking about the obligations under the Workplace Health and Safety Act. So whoever's in the control of the workplace is a responsible person and could be liable for not managing the workplace properly. So that's why we need to reduce the risks to the body corporate or the owners of the building to manage asbestos as well as safety hazards. Okay, so we need to make sure there's a asbestos register in place and a management plan to look after that. So that's, you can either contact Sydney or myself and we can help you out in those areas from there. So what we'll do, we'll go through one of the other reports and the other sections what we need to look at. Alright, so we were looking at the asbestos report, and then we were looking at each area and to see on how we can identify what parts in the building and to work out where asbestos sheeting is and how to manage that. So once we've got that in our report, that needs to be put into a register. So if we look in, so an asbestos management plan, so whoever comes to on site needs to be aware of the asbestos on site and what risks they're going to do what method they're going to do to minimise the risk so they don't disturb that asbestos. Also there is another document in here as well. Where did it go? No, it's not that one. Asbestos register, okay. So now it's gone. Alright, so whatever part of the building, so we're looking at that there. Okay, so it's an asbestos management plan. Now the other part of the register that identified where the asbestos was in the building and what condition it was in. So then that way you've got that full management of the site, so you know where the asbestos is and the contractors know about where that is. Alright, so if we go back to our other section in here, this is where we're talking about the asbestos register, so that identifies where the areas of asbestos is in the building. Now there's some parts in some of the buildings, in the older buildings, some can be in the paint. The little spaces have been put into the windows that hold the windows into place. There's also sometimes some asbestos in there that we've found, and also some asbestos in the paint. So it's quite amazing where that has been found, that's for sure. Alright, so once we've got those sections in there, so we're looking at having an asbestos register in place, so that's what we looked at just earlier on, and we've also got the contractor's management plan in place, so we know that whoever comes onto site, the contractors know, one, not to disturb it, and two, if they need to, if there is going to be any disturbance, then there needs to be adequate measures in place and monitoring so we don't upset the fibres, or we need to wet down the area so then all the material is encapsulated. So that should give you a bit of an idea on how the asbestos plan that goes together. So you can either contact Sydney or myself and be able to help you in meeting the requirements of the legislation.